Welcome, welcome, welcome. I figured we needed two lights. There is in this place the possibility of healing, of repair, of making things right between us and the wider world. We gather around this light of hope as we share this time together. Amen, Ashe, and may it be so.
And we have some exciting announcements. A lot of things coming up at Wedgwood. Next Sunday, I will be speaking, and the title is Mothers on the Rise. And I'm going to introduce you to Nina Porter. She has an amazing, incredible story as a mom. That's her in the picture. So you'll learn more about Nina Porter next Sunday. And our homecoming, yay, I'm so excited. Um, Time to start getting the numbers in. Let me know who's coming, family, friends, yourself. We're going to the farm again. It is going to be a fun, fun, fun day. I'm so excited, and the food is always great at church covered dish dinners. So, looking forward to it. I hope you're coming and bringing some friends and family. Daughter of the Boycott, the next time we meet is May 14th. You're welcome to join. Members and non-members are welcome to join the book club. And I believe we're going to read to chapter 13. Am I correct, Tom Hanson?
Yes,
Chapter 13. So
yes.
come on and join us. And our next monthly meetup is May the 12th, and we are going Korean this month. So we'll all meet up on Tuesday, May 12th for our monthly meetup and enjoy a Korean meal together. And don't forget, bring your donations for toy, either food or toiletries for Time Out for Youth. And these are some of the items that Time Out Youth really needs in their pantries, the life essentials as well as the food pantry. And that's it. A lot of things coming up, and we hope you're going to be a part of them. We are thrilled that you are here this morning, whether you're listening now or you're listening later in the day or later in the week. We're thrilled you chose to spend some time at Wedgwood. To all visitors and members, we're glad you're here this morning. Wedgwood is proud to be an open-minded, culturally diverse, service-oriented community. We are an interfaith community with our members coming from all religious and spiritual backgrounds, and sometimes no religious or spiritual background. We provide a safe haven to explore, share, and question our beliefs as we grow spiritually and intellectually together. We hope you find something here today at Wedgwood that brings you back next Sunday. Thanks for joining us. And as a community that considers social justice to be a cornerstone of who we are, we would like to acknowledge that the land we reside on is the unceded land of the Catawba and the Sugaree people.
Next, we're going to do the extravagant welcome. Tom and I will read the extravagant welcome.
We are all welcome here.
Welcome to a community that works for peace, justice, equality, and care of Mother Earth.
We are all welcome here.
An extravagant welcome to you because of your gender identification, sexual orientation, ethnicity, economic situation, physical and mental challenges, doubting or believing, being depressed or full of joy.
We are all welcome here.
We are a community of curious and creative spiritual seekers striving to learn from and embody the way of Jesus and other spiritual leaders.
We are all welcome here.
We focus on the plundered and the marginalized as we try to address the major issues of our day.
We are all welcome here.
You are invited to share your passion, your inspiration, and your personal stories of one of the ways to help heal the world.
We are all welcome here.
We are all welcome here. And welcome Ashley, and welcome Carl and Corinne and everyone else. Welcome. Next, we have prayers and celebrations and concerns. If anyone wants to share any prayers, celebrations, concerns, there's a lot going on in the world. We did have a good book club Melba was just talking about,
Yes,
and
awesome.
that the author was there and that I missed it, and that she was telling us about all the stories behind the scenes of the boycott, the Montgomery boycott, and I'm so sorry I missed
Oh,
it.
she had
So,
stories that you wouldn't know unless you talked to her about
mhm.
things that were going on that we weren't aware. Little, I don't know what you call them, Patrice, little tidbits of information. And oh, it was really, really good. If she comes back, I told my husband he's going to have to be sitting here because it was really fascinating
Yes. If
to
she does
listen
come
to
back,
her.
I'm not going to miss it because she has, like, I guess you can call the inside scoop or the
Yes.
inside perspective.
Oh, she had the
Um,
inside perspective.
Perspective, yeah. So, Malva, when next time you say, "Oh, I should have called you," just call me. I'm here.
I started to, and
Yeah.
we had a great day on Friday. Tom and Reggie were there. I don't know if others were there, but I did happen to see Tom and Reggie with the March immigration work rights, all people's work rights, workers' rights. It was a good day. I read that there were about 1,000 people there by the time it was over.
Mm.
So it was a good day. We were just talking about that before. We got to stand up for other people. We can't just think about ourselves. We've got to stand up for other people. Um, and that's a big thing. And I felt like a lot of the people there were standing up for other people too. So it was a good day.
Well, Reggie and Tom always got their boots on the ground. Whatever this they do. Well, the next that we're going to. Did anyone else have any concerns, celebrations that they wanted to mention? Oh, I should mention. I have a celebration that my daughter and my eldest grandson are in Atlanta at this time. Chase, as you know, is on the traveling basketball team, which is a great opportunity that has been given to him. So, and we thank you all that has donated for it to the cause. And so they're in Atlanta, and they're doing very well. They won their first game today. It'll be another game, and we'll find out how that goes. I believe they're going to win the second game as well. So, and safe travels for them coming back home, and so that's exciting for Chase to experience this, and they got people watching them, looking at him, and seeing what his talents are. So it's a good opportunity, and he has a good mental state of mind as well too. He's not overwhelmed. He's not nervous. I just told him, you just go do what you do and believe in you. So that's all I have from him. So yeah,
Another
so that's a
thing
celebration there.
is that we all need to think through the impact of the Supreme Court turning us back to 1960 and
Mm,
eliminating the Voting Rights Act and what that's going to mean for our country and for the
Yes.
future and how we have to change how we struggle as a
mm,
result of a court decision that some have compared to the Dred Scott decision
Yeah.
mm.
in terms of its negative impact on our society and our commitments. So we need to think about that and probably have a session or two on that about what the implications of that are.
Yes, that is something that we're concerned, and that still goes along with the same situation with the strait being closed and all the domino effects that we're going to see soon coming. So I wanted to have a little session about that too, about preparing for food and things of that nature, whatever that can happen at that time. But that'll be another discussion. Is there anything else anyone's concerned, celebrations that you want to mention before we go forward? Okay. Or maybe it's something that you wanted to mention, but it's you want to keep it to yourself, and that's okay. Next, we'll go to words of wisdom. Y'all all right? Next, we'll go to words of wisdom. And the words of wisdom come from a Vietnamese Buddhist and peace activist, Thich Nhat Hanh. He believed mindful speech is itself a form of compassionate action. He constantly emphasized that it was a way to heal. He taught that when we speak with care, we plant seeds of peace in others. One of his quotes were, words can travel thousands of miles. Words can travel thousands of miles. What I got from that is, whether spoken or written or even a thought, have an impact from beyond that moment it is spoken. That's what I got from that. That's Words of Wisdom by Thich Nhat Hanh. May he rest in heavenly peace. He passed away at 95 years old on January 22nd of 2022. And now for my message, the power of the tongue, Proverbs 18:21. Thank you. You know, sometimes when you go about your day and something can just stop you. Well, I was listening to music, as I often do, all types of music. And I like to listen to music and clean at the same time. It's like my little happy place. So I was listening to music, cleaning my kitchen, and feeling really good. And I was strolling through some music the way I always do. And I came across something called Proverbs R&B. I didn't really know what that was. It's a Proverbs R&B. What's that? So I kept on scrolling, looking for, the vibe that I wanted while I was cleaning. But something told me to go back to that. What is that? What's Proverbs R&B? So I hit play. And boy, let me tell you, what came through those speakers, it was a beautiful, soulful voice, rich, smooth, singing scripture, not preaching it, not reciting it, but singing it, like it was written to be felt and not heard. So I was kind of hooked. I said, this was a nice vibe for me to clean, and got the windows open and feeling good. So I sat there and I listened. I let it flow over me and just let it, move my mind. And then I saw the bottom of the screen, it said Proverbs 18:21. I said, that came through, and something had stopped me. And I said, let me go look this up. I didn't know what Proverbs 18:21 was. It says, death and life are in the power of the tongue. Wow, that's pretty heavy. I must have played it about 4 or 5 times. And the more I listened, the more I realized this is something I think we need to talk about. This is something that should be, presented. Because most of us, we're walking around here every single day, not fully understanding the weight of what we carry with our mouths. Words have power. I know it sounds real simple, almost too simple. like something you see on like a motivational poster, But I really want you to sit with that for a minute before we move on. Because I think most of us acknowledge it in our heads, that without really feeling the weight of it in our lives. I'm going to say that again. I think most of us acknowledge it in our heads without really feeling the weight of it in our lives. Words have power. Proverbs 18:21 says it plainly. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Death and life. Both extremes right there in your mouth, in my mouth, in the mouths of every person that's here today. So now think about what that means. The same instrument that can breathe life into a person can also destroy them. The same mouth that can speak healing, encouragement, and truth can also wound and humiliate and break something in a person that will take years to repair. Years. And this is the part that gets me. We use it every single day without giving it a second thought. We walk around all day long, to our families. We speak to our families in the morning, to our co-workers, to strangers, to ourselves. Thousands of words just pour out of us. And most of the time, we're not really thinking about the weight of what we are releasing into the world. But those words are landing somewhere on someone every single time. This is not a small thing. It's not a small thing. This is not a personal quirk or a communication style issue. This is life and death. And Proverbs 18:21 is not being dramatic. It's being pretty precise. So today I want to look at 3 things. How powerful our words really are, how they wound, how they heal, and how sometimes the wisest thing we can do is to say nothing at all. May I have my the next slide, please? Thank you. Words are not small. We have a habit of minimizing our words sometimes, especially after we say something that causes damage. We say things like, I was just venting. I didn't really mean it. You're just too sensitive. You always play yourself as a victim. I was just joking. Those are just words. But there's no such thing as just words. Let's take a moment. Think about the most hurtful thing that anyone has ever said to you. It might have come up while we were listening to that music meditation. I want you to really go in there for a second. Think about it in your mind. I'll wait. The most hurtful thing someone has said to you. It might be a few. I'll wait. I'd be willing to bet you remember it word for word, the exact phrase, the tone in the person's voice, maybe even where you were standing and when they said it. Maybe it was years ago. Maybe it was decades. But it's still right there, isn't it? Something that you hold on to that you just can't forget. You remember that. Clear as day as it happened. That's not a small thing. That's power. And it works the other way too. Think about the person who believed in you when you didn't believe in yourself. Or the one who said exactly the right thing at exactly the right time. Maybe it was a teacher who told you that you were smarter than you thought you were. Or a friend who told you to keep going when you really wanted to quit. Or maybe a stranger who said something so simple, so perfectly timed, that it shifted something inside of you. One sentence and something changed. That's not small either. Here's what I want you to try to understand. Your words are shaping the people around you right now. Your kids are being shaped by what you say to them or about them. your partner, your friends, your coworkers, the people who you look up to. They are being built up or torn down by the words coming out of your mouth. Whether you're paying attention to it or not. And I'll take it a little bit further. The words you speak to yourself matter just as much. Those are the most important ones. How you talk to yourself. What do you say when you look into the mirror? What do you say to yourself when you make a mistake? You cuss yourself out, you call yourself stupid. What do you say to yourself? I used to say those things to myself and pick at myself that way. I don't do it anymore. I don't do it anymore. I give myself encouragement and I give myself grace. And I praise myself and I tell myself I'm doing a great job and I've come a long way from where I've been. That inner voice is powerful too. You cannot consistently speak life into others when you are constantly tearing yourself down inside. The words are not small. They never were. May I have my next slide, please? Your tongue can wound or it can heal. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about that. This is where it gets kind of personal for me. And if you all know me, you know I speak my mind. I say what I want to say. I speak my mind. I say my feelings. If I'm upset, if I'm mad, if I'm sad, I say it. So this one right here is personal for me, and I wanted to get personal because this is a personal topic. And we need to get personal and be honest with ourselves. So this right here gets personal for me. Your tongue can wound or it can heal. A few months ago, someone close to me, someone I trust, someone that knows my story, that knows my history, and knows things that I've been through, deliberately used the knowledge to hurt me. They took something painful from my past and weaponized it. Used it to make a point. Used it to cut deep. And they knew exactly what they were doing. And I want to be honest with you. This one still sort of sits with me, you know. I mean, I can go on. I'm all right. But, in the back of your mind, be like, what was that? I'm not going to stand here and tell you I'm completely over because I'm not. Some wounds are like that, though. Some wounds are like that. They don't just disappear because you're strong or because you're spiritual or because you've been healing or because time has passed. Sometimes the wound is still tender. And that's real. But here's what I learned from it. And what I want you to hear is that the most dangerous words are not always from enemies. They are often the ones from people closest to us, because they have access. They know where you're vulnerable. They know your history, and when someone chooses to use that knowledge as a weapon, well, that's just one of the deepest betrayals there is. That's the wound side of it. And we've all been there, haven't we? Maybe not the exact same way, but somebody used what they knew about you to hurt you. A parent who knew your insecurities and named them in anger. A partner who threw something back in your face that you shared in a vulnerable moment. A friend who said something in public that should have stayed private. The wound went deep because the trust was deep. And if we're being honest, we've all been on the other side too. You know, there have been moments in my life where I said something I couldn't take back. The words were already out before my brain could even catch up. And I could see that on the person's face, that the damage had been done. You know that sick feeling right after? That's not guilt. That's your consciousness telling you that you used your power in the wrong way. But then here's the other side. Think about the time when you were having the worst week of your life and somebody said the right thing. And suddenly you could breathe again. You could keep going. And that's the healing side. And you have that ability too. Your neighbor who just lost their job. Your coworker who barely is holding it together. Your teenager who's feeling invisible. Your friend who is going through something they haven't told anyone yet. You could walk into a room and be the person whose words bring life. You may not be able to fix the situation. You may not have all the answers, but you can choose your words. And sometimes that's everything. That's everything. One word, a phrase, changes everything. And next slide. Wisdom means knowing when to hold it. Silence is power too. Now this one here, we don't talk about enough. We don't talk about enough about, being quiet and holding back when you need to hold back. Now here's one we don't talk about enough. So sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is say nothing at all. Nothing. Don't say nothing. Nothing at all. We live in a world that rewards the loudest voice in the room. Everyone got an opinion. Everybody needs to respond immediately, publicly, loudly. Social media has convinced us that every thought deserves an audience, and every wrong needs an immediate response. I'm sorry about the paper in the way. And everyone needs an immediate response. But wisdom shows that not every moment requires your words. Think about how many arguments could have ended or never started, even if somebody had just chosen not to respond in that moment. Not because they didn't have anything to say. Trust me, I'm sure they have plenty to say. But because they were wise enough to know that this was not the moment. When someone comes at you with anger and you choose silence, that's not weakness. That's not losing. That's control. You are deciding what you release into that situation instead of just reacting to it. You are refusing to let someone else's chaos pull you out of your peace. Now that's where I'm at today. You're not going to pull me out of my peace. My peace is very important to me at this time in my life. So you refuse to let someone else's chaos pull you out of your peace. And sometimes silence is the loudest message you can send. There's also something to be said for sitting with your words before you speak them. Asking yourself, is this true? Is this necessary? Is this kind? Is this the right moment? Because a word spoken too soon can do damage that can eat that not even the right words later on can fully repair. The wisest people are not the ones always having something to say. They are the ones who speak when it matters. And when they do, the room gets quiet. Because people know that when they open their mouth, it is going to be worth hearing. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Every single day, you are making a choice, maybe without even realizing it. Are your words building something, or are they tearing something down? Are they healing, or are they wounding? Are you speaking when you should be silent? I'm still working on this myself, but the situation a few months ago reminded me just how words can linger, how much they can still sting even when you know better, even when you've done the work. But that's exactly why it matters. Because we are all in this together. None of us have arrived, but we all can be more intentional. We can pause. We can choose. We can speak life. And sometimes we can choose the most powerful option of all and simply hold it and be silent. I thank you for your time, and I thank you for listening. And this is a time for questions and comments, if there's any. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ashanti. That was excellent. Makes us think.
Yeah,
Thank you,
and it
Ashanti.
makes me continuously think too. You know, sometimes people get you upset, and you want to respond quickly because we're human, but you got to hold yourself back and be in control and say, should I say this? Should I say that? Should I say nothing? Should I just turn around and pivot and walk the other way? I do that a lot. I'm just going the other way.
This is kind of interesting. I grew up in Shelby and I went back to my hometown as an adult, actually not too many years ago. And there's a popular barbecue place that everybody goes to. And so I went in, I was getting some to bring back home. And one of the women that works in there went to high school with me. And so I sat down at the bar waiting for my food, and we began to chat. And started asking her about some people, and she named somebody and said, "Well, so and so is sitting right back there." And I said, "Oh my goodness!" So I walked back, and I saw this person that I had gone to school with from first grade all the way to graduating high school. And he stood up and he said to me, "Melba, before anything else is said, I want to say I'm sorry." And I said, "For what?" And he said, "I was not a nice person in high school." He said, "I was a bully. And I said some very mean things to some people. And I don't know if you were one of those people that I said some mean things to or not. But if I was, I want to tell you how sorry I am." I didn't remember any particular instance. I just remember he wasn't a guy I wanted to be around. But I don't remember anything that he said. But I just thought, my gosh, we're grown adults now. We've had careers, we're retired, and you're reflecting back. So sometimes the person who says it may take a long time, or they may never realize what they've done. But, I always try to keep that in mind because sometimes it can be too late to go back and say you're sorry.
Sometimes, but sometimes I think it's never too late to say I'm sorry because
Well, I
that
mean, if
means
the
that.
person's gone or
Oh
something has
yes,
happened, or
yes, 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 yes.
sometimes it's too late, and I hear that a lot with parents and children is something to think about. But also, I think we have to watch what we text because we may mean it one way, and the reader puts a different expression into it, and it comes off differently. That's just something I thought of. That sometimes that's not what I meant. That's not, and it's really not what you meant. Um, we got to be careful with all this texting and social media stuff.
Yes. And just be mindful what energy that you're putting out there is basically what I wanted to present, including myself. I said, including myself, being mindful of what you say, how you say, when you say, and when you should just be quiet. Don't say anything because nothing needs to be said. It's going to make it worse, you know? So thank you so much for participating, everyone. Anyone else have any questions or concerns or yes, Miss Patrice?
Just wanted to share a little thing. When I would
Yeah.
go to the jails and prisons to work with women, I would end with this little exercise where half of them would sit down in chairs in a circle and the other half would stand. So there'd be a person standing behind each person.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have the group standing. Each one of them would come up with one affirmation, and it would be a "you are." And they would whisper that same one into each woman's ear until they got back to their starting point. Then those who were sitting would stand and they'd do the same. And it never failed that afterwards, when we would have discussion about it, somebody would always start weeping before it was over.
Oh.
There would always be some people that would say, I've never heard anyone say that to me. Even if it was, you are beautiful, you are smart, just they never heard it. And then also, they would just talk about how it felt good to say that to
Right.
someone. And so they would also discover the power of their own words on others. And it
Yes.
would also, there'd be a discussion, of course, about the impact of what has been said to them, you know. But anyway, it's just such a simple exercise, but it just always, no matter where I went, anywhere in the world, it was always the same, that impact of words on people.
And the simple words. It was a small phrase they would say, right? Or
Yeah,
you are beautiful. That's a
you're
simple
beautiful, you are
phrase.
loved,
You
you
are
are,
loved.
incredible, you are
Yeah.
just,
And
and
yeah,
yeah.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. That's a
it
beautiful
is.
exercise. So this week, I want you to be intentional about your words. Before you speak, just pause for a moment. Think about what you're about to say and think about how it might land on the person in front of you. I know our lives are really busy and we're talking a mile a minute, things are going on. Just try to be more mindful. Because that person matters, whether it's your husband, your wife, your child, your coworker, or even a stranger, they are carrying something you may not know anything about. And your words have the ability to either add that weight, to add to that weight, or to lift it. You don't have to be perfect, and none of us are, but a little intention goes a long way. So just pause, and think, and speak with care. You already have everything you need to make a difference, and it starts with your tongue. So I thank you. Melba, did you have something else you want to say?
No, just thank you, Ashanti. Appreciate this service so much. I could tell you're speaking from your heart. Um, it meant a lot because I think that it was a topic we all need to hear, and I know that some people in Washington, D.C. who need to also hear your message. Um, it's all around us, it's everywhere, and we just need to think about our words.
Every day. Yes. Well, thank you all. And we got two lights. We extinguish this flame, but we keep the light in our hearts with a message of love and justice and taking outside of these walls into which we live in until we see each other again. Amen, Ashe, and may it be so.